Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. Welcome, fire signs, and everyone who's interested in tuning into fire energy for this month of October. This is like pretty much, we only have a couple of days of the month left, so please accept my apology for turning this video out super duper late. I just had like a lot come up this month, and I'm honestly surprised that I was able to do the other ones because this month has just been completely crazy. But yeah, I have quite a bit coming up already from sitting and tuning in beforehand before starting the video. And my name is Brother Earth. I am an intuitive healer. I have was ordained and trained as a Buddhist monk in the Zen tradition with Thich Nhat Hanh for a couple of years. And I've also been formally trained to do healing work, doing energetic healing work, as well as mediumship. I am a medium and a channel as well. Feel free to check me out on Instagram as well at Brother Earth Healing. And if you resonate with what I'm doing and would like to support me, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, and feel free to reach out if you are interested in doing private work with me. I have a sliding scale for all of my services to make them accessible for everybody, and I absolutely love doing one-on-one work with people. It's very beautiful and very enriching for me as well. I've been doing a lot of ancestral work with people as well more recently. So again, feel free to reach out, and feel free to also just like leave a comment and say hi too. I always love chatting with you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna offer some energy to help us settle into the space, and feel free to just relax. And I'll invite you to come back to your breathing. Maybe just take a couple of nice deep breaths with me. So let's begin to ease into the space by turning our attention to our mind, recognizing our thoughts and what our physical head is feeling like, as well as the head space. And without judging, just recognizing what's going on, we'll set an intention for the thoughts and preoccupations in the mind to just begin to settle, allowing our mind and our head to feel relaxed and a little easier. We'll move our attention to the heart space, to our emotions. Again, just being present and recognizing what is alive. And without judging, without judgment, let's set an intention for our emotions, whatever might be preoccupying our attention in the heart space, to begin to settle just for a little while we are together today. Nice big breaths, really releasing. Great. So let's do our best as much as we can to open up to receive whatever wants to come through, recognizing what resonates, and taking notes as to what is resonating and what isn't will allow to be resonant for someone else. So I'd like to offer gratitude and thanks and a whole lot of love to my ancestors, both my blood ancestry as well as spiritual heritage, all of my guides and teachers. Thank you very, very much for all the love and support. and we can do this together as well for those of you tuning in. Please help to support me in offering messages clearly to those tuning in for our healing and for our highest happiness and growth. Yeah, messages of support in these difficult, challenging, but also very beautiful and transformational times. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay, so immediately when I began to sit before recording, I felt a lot of fire, basically. Just these messages and thoughts coming up really strongly of it's time. Those are the words that came out really strongly. It's time. I think for many of us, we know what that means. And for those who maybe are a little bit less clear, I feel like what came through was really speaking about, like it's really time for us to show up in the world and to recognize that the world is how it is because we allow it to be that way. And contribute to it being that way. In many, many ways. And so the hard work, I feel like there's been some amount of a path being paved in front of us. And this can also not just be resonant for us as a collective, but also for us individually in what we are personally going through. So again, take this how it most resonates for you. And if it resonates in different, facets of your life as well, then that's even better. And so I just feel like it's time, right? It's time to answer the call. It's time to show up for ourselves and our communities and for the world. I had a meditation come up, a suggestion for a meditation come up today. A lot of times my guides and teachers will just like send them into my thoughts, ideas for, like I said, meditations or practices, healing practices that will be beneficial. So I feel like this one was for the collective, and it was one of like really sitting in meditation and visualizing sitting at, for instance, like a table, sitting at the table for like a meal or whatever, was the imagery I got with those that will be, the continuation of your bloodline. So your family, right? The future of your family and your loved ones, whether that's directly people that are alive right now, whether that's like your children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren. I felt like it was important to see them as children for some reason. And really take into account as you sit in this space and really feel, really sit with family and your descendants, right? With the recognition of the world that we're handing off to them. And I think it was an important visualization as well to recognize the ways that they will be harmed regardless of what we do now. And I think that's important because it really adds a sense of reality to the situation, and kind of like an urgency to kick it into next gear, right? Okay, I just want to start pulling some cards for us, fire signs again, or just tuning into the fire energies. I feel like as soon as I said that, I heard and felt like purification. I think that many of us, I think that we are all going through a very profound purification process. I think I think we are all offered that as well. And the degree to which we purify is really very much up to us, I think. And so I feel like something that's coming through is that maybe some of us need help recognizing those processes, because sometimes we get carried away with what is actually occurring, and don't realize that, and get a little bit caught up in our anger or frustration with the situations that arise, that we lose sight of recognizing, right, that in fact many of these many of these situations are being, you know, handed to us as a way for us, as an opportunity for us to purify through them. And so I have a few cards already coming out here, and so let's get started. First is the Star card. I'm hearing dreams really strongly, as well as, like, you know, hopes and dreams. But the dreams part of it were actually coming out a little bit more strongly. I feel like many of us have possibly, you know, actual, you know, dreams as well, though, you know, a dream for, you know, a beautiful way of existing, you know, on earth, among each other, in our families and relationships. And I think for so long there has been a human cultural habit of feeling like our deepest desires and deepest dreams and wishes for the way we want to exist, and, you know, in general, our deepest dreams and deepest desires are not able to be fulfilled, right? I feel like that maybe arises because, you know, it's not easy to achieve even moments of really truly feeling that way, you know, in our lives, but also let alone, you know, as a society and as a people, as a world. But there's a significant reason why this card is coming out now. I'm hearing like two paths, as well as like identifying strongly with the imagery of her pouring out water. Two different places, two different ways. Yeah, what I'm hearing is like feeding from the source. What is the source of, I think a really interesting thing that's coming up is what is the source of your dreams, of that dream, right? Like, where does that come from? What magical, you know, beautiful, sacred place does that come from? And how can we bring that energy of that source, of that place, and allow it to be, you know, begin to express itself in our lives, right? And create conditions for that sacredness and that very pure, perfect, loving energy to express itself, you know. Recognize more and more deeply what the source of that is, right? Because it's certainly internal. It's certainly in us, that source, and in the fabric of, you know, of the universe, of all things, right? That deep source. So it's very much about like drawing from that and finding ways to sprinkle it around, you know, in our life, in a way that, in a very intentional way. And I think through that kind of process, which is for sure going to be different for everybody. Some people find that kind of magic and feel that kind of magic, you know, through gardening or just being completely immersed, like in a wild, natural environment, or, you know, by playing music, or, you know, like, you know, or doing other kinds of healing things like that, that are deeply like connective. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there actually and move on to Seven of Pentacles here. like this feeling of for sure, like, okay, like no matter what I do, I'm not hitting it. I'm not hitting home, right? And the feeling, what's coming through is that, okay, but, you know, that may be true, but, you know, if we don't try to do things in a different way, and I for sure feel like what's coming through is like think outside of the box. That seems to definitely be like a very important point here, is that we need to begin to think outside of the box and begin to explore other ways of acting, you know, or different ways of doing things, right? What I'm hearing is also ways that maybe we don't think would work, but seem ideal, or seem like, oh, wow, like it would be so great if like that would work like that, you know, if that worked. I'm feeling particularly in regards to like making societal changes, or yeah, doing things that you feel might benefit others, or at the very least maybe influence others in a very positive and healing way. And there are many, many ways we can do this, many of which are just in nourishing our own selves and being that light, you know, just in the world, right? Which makes such a huge impact, and offers us and others so many opportunities that are, you know, we would never recognize or know. Six of Pentacles also came out. So it's interesting. Yeah, so again, this fire energy, very much, again, with these cards coming out, pointing to, we have two major arcana sandwiching these two pentacle cards, and also the other one is the moon on the other side. Stars and moon, very, very interesting and beautiful imagery. I'll look into the whole thing after I do into each individual card. So yeah, this fire energy is really pointing to building up that fire, and, you know, this is it, like, let's do this. It's time, right? Really, really, with these pentacles coming in strongly about actions in the physical world on Earth, right? Very clear that the way that we've done things and have been doing things hasn't worked, feeling very let down with that Seven of Pentacles. And I feel like the Six of Pentacles here is the antidote, or the medicine, right? Which is giving and being generous, right? Feeding people and bringing those qualities which we want to see more of in the world. Bringing those qualities into the world yourself, you know? Each one of us needs to do that in a major way, in a very significant way. We all need to find a way to contribute what we're here to contribute, from our heart space, right? This is very much speaking to a very heart-centered way of acting and living and being in the world. And it feels very like grassroots is the feeling, right? Like orchestrated, or maybe not necessarily organized in a big way. Although, you know, I think, yeah, I was thinking like earlier, even like it'd be really cool to have some kind of like social media campaign, grassroots like kind of campaign that that influenced, or what's the word, encouraged people to do like charitable things or things like that, or like post like, hey, like these folks could really use some help here, you know, and like for us to really like get a movement together of like, you know, crowdfunding for like important things, you know. I mean, $1 from, you know, 100,000 people, you know, to support like something, you know, could make a huge difference, like in so many ways and in so many areas, right? So anyway, very much the energy of like a heart space, generosity, and what I'm very called to is the scale in this is really pointing itself out to me right now. And it's definitely about bringing balance, bringing about balance, right? So like where we see imbalance, where we see injustice, right? An moral imbalance, financial imbalance, yeah, just in a like, yeah, like humanitarian imbalance, you know, like, or like where we see that, what we are personally drawn to, right? To make efforts in those areas where we are personally drawn to, because not everybody's going to be as drawn to the same kind of work or charity or organizations or, you know, whatnot. But yeah, it is extremely important that we do begin to do this work, you know. Anyway, I'm going to get into the moon. So the moon and the star, we're sandwiching these two pentacle cards. And what I feel strongly is that there is an incredible amount of support, and where, again, we maybe felt like, oh, you know, I tried that, it didn't work, or, you know, I don't see how that's possible, but it would be great if we could do that, you know, it would be so healing and so transformative, right? That there's a lot of support, and the moon, the moon, you know, there's a flow, right? There's always a flow. And when we kind of can, when we pick up on that flow and even enter it, right? I feel like most of us know right away. Things feel good, things feel easy. You know what I mean? Even if like there's things that come up, like it feels like a flow. It doesn't feel like fighting. It doesn't feel like, you know, whatever. And it's important to recognize when that arises. And even if things maybe logically don't always seem like they would work out, or, you know, it's like, oh, how would that happen? You know what I mean? When you feel a flow, especially if it's something that, you know, we are feel very driven to do or very passionate about, it's important to recognize the power of flow, right? And how that can just cut through whatever obstacle or barrier, or just, you know, weave its way around and through obstacles and barriers in a very natural way. And I feel like that is another piece of advice, as well as just that flow provides that path for you, right? The flow is going to provide the path. Yeah. Maybe the name of this video will be "It's Time." Follow that flow. Follow the flow. Yeah, I'm just really feeling like it's just like crunch time, and you know, it's really time for us to get our act together. The moon here it's very interesting. It feels very I don't know what the word is, stern, almost in a way that's like, don't disappoint me. It's, you know, almost disappointed. But the imagery of the moon in this card, which I've never really actually, I don't know, noticed certainly, is that it has these rays coming out of it, like the sun, right? Almost like an eclipse, right? It just feels very whimsical. It feels incredibly magical and whimsical and divine and guided. And when things feel like that, like, it is absolutely important for us to really take them seriously, and to not shy away no matter like what might be arising. And I feel like that might be something that's coming up for somebody. And I would say to, again, follow the flow. And remain loyal to the path you know is the path of your heart, right? That is what is coming up. I feel like this sense of sadness or disappointment from the moon is coming from like feeling like, wow, like this feeling of, also reflecting just us internally, right? Our own selves, and emotionally feeling like, wow, like, am I really being loyal to my path, right? To my, am I really honoring the opportunities that are in front of me, and especially the opportunity that's presented by the state of the world right now in offering what I can to support and help myself and others, right? And people. And so this is something that is just, we all must kind of reconcile, and we all must come into the awareness of, right? And by giving, maybe a little bit of push or clarity by tuning into these videos that kind of shine light on what might be going on for those of us that maybe have a little bit of a harder time tuning in, or maybe just even for clarification and for clarification and what's the word? Like to reinforce what we are feeling, and support and feel like, okay, yeah, no, that is what's going on, Okay, well, there's definitely a lot that wants to come out in terms of I'm just going to leave that like that. In terms of like earth realm stuff for fire signs and for people that are, interested in, really interesting. And with the flow of fire energy right now, I'm actually just going to take these cards. I'm feeling like, I feel like we have a choice here with the Nine of Swords. I'm feeling as though it came up kind of upside down, but almost at like a slant. And what I just kind of got from that was that, there are there are so many things that we, can get, totally lost in our tears and in our sadness, from that are occurring, here on the planet, and in our own lives as well, right? For many of us, even those of us who are, very extremely, lucky and blessed, and it's almost feeling like this choice to recognize and use and transmute what is coming up, the recognition of that suffering in ourselves and in the world, which is an absolutely essential, crucial thing, and very very awakened thing to actually be aware of, truly be aware of the suffering, and aliven the compassion within us. But compassion arises when compassion arises within us. The natural reaction is for us to want to do something about it, right? Again, this can resonate if this doesn't just have to be about like what's happening in the world in general, but it can also definitely be in a big way about your own personal life and things that are coming up for you. And so we have this massive opportunity and choice to whether to kind of wallow in it, or to kind of almost flip it on its head, or follow that flow, also following that flow of what wants to come from it, from the experience of deep pain and suffering at looking at the world, instead of kind of shutting ourselves off like the woman is in the picture, like kind of, oh no, I don't want to look anymore, opening our eyes to the possibilities, especially because so many more of us now, simply even just due to technology, are so much more aware and capable of showing the world different things, you know. And through that, without that, there is no possibility for us to act, because if we're not aware, right? So now that we're hyper aware, there's this right ground, almost like this breeding ground of, like, you know, of you know, this warrior energy to I don't like saying the word combat, but like to mend, right? To offer remedy to these situations. Medicine wheel actually came out in the reverse, but the other card was on top. So actually, what I'm feeling is that it's mirroring very strongly, like the suffering that we're experiencing from seeing the world in this state is, yeah, a mirror, and it reflects where we are called to act, right? That is as clear as it can be. You know, when we react really strongly to one particular thing over another, that's a really good sign for us to say, okay, well, you know, what can I do about this thing? This thing obviously is impacting me in a very personal way, you know, yeah, like, you know, let's find some remedy, you know. Let's use all of this wealth that we have, you know, all of this influence and connections, and, you know, what can we do with it that actually means something, that's actually meaningful, you know, instead of just trying to, like, you know, do things that aren't very important, especially when, again, the world is in this state. Four of Pentacles. Directly above the Six of Cups here. I feel like while we might be feeling immense, while it might be this kind of comfortably numb feeling to yeah, like sit at home and you know, I know that we're not getting, I know that, like, the unemployment checks aren't as big as they were before, or something like that, but you know what I mean, like, although there might be some comfort in knowing, okay, well, you know, I'm safe, and all of the people that I know, my family for the most part, or, you know, entirely, are safe, you know, it's like, it's odd. It's like this feeling of what's arising is that we are no longer able to tap into that comfortably numb state, or like many people are becoming very snapped out of it, are snapping out of it in a way, in a way where, like, the numbness is, like, wearing off. Like, the things that we do to numb ourselves aren't effective anymore, or interesting to us, or, you know, and this is, again, just speaking to the immense amount of support and opportunity and real the reality, the deep reality that it is possible, right? It is possible to change, to bring in to this world the dream that we have of, you know, the dreams that we have for it, and for ourselves, and for, again, our loved ones and those that will come after us. And it's so important that we, like, really use this fire to, like, go forth, right? Again, like with what I just said, the fire, where that fire arises through that pain and compassion, that fuels that fire in us, you know, recognize what that is surrounding, and if there's a particular cause or a particular thing that really really ticks it for us, that we're like, I cannot, every time I think about this thing, that I'm seeing or feeling or, hearing about, every time I just cannot, right? I can't take it that it exists, and, it's for me, I know I can say it's like that for many a thing, for many things. And, yeah, anyway, that is our waypoint, that is our guiding, our North Star for the work that we need to do, and that the work that we're made to do, that we're here to do, right? I'm going to pull a card from my angel deck. I know I have been haven't done anything on Instagram for like a couple of months, and I was doing these angel card channelings for you guys. I feel like it's like hard for people to like read like a super long like channeled thing when things are always so busy for people, and so I'm actually gonna start posting some other stuff on there. I'm gonna take a couple of these cards out. It's very interesting how these particular cards want to come out. They kind of want to come out in threes. I did a private reading for someone yesterday, and they wanted to come out in like threes. So maybe that's just how they're feeling. I haven't used these cards in this way. That was the first time I had used them actually for like working with somebody besides doing channeling with them. But they're very beautiful cards, little strips, and I think that this is fine. 3 cards. As well as we're going to choose one card from my Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. We'll just pick one out if one wants to come out for us. And there it is. Okay. You come out a lot, especially right now. Okay, so the 3 cards from my little handmade angel deck from my teacher, my healing and channeling teacher and dear friend. Her name is Charlotte Tinker. You can check her out. She has been channeling Kuan Yin for like over 30 years now, and is a master healer and a beautiful person. You should totally check out her YouTube channel. And if you're interested in tuning into her news, what's it called? She puts out a newsletter with channeled messages from Kuan Yin every month. Feel free to reach out to me and I will totally get you on that. I believe her website is Kuan Yin Speaks. Charlotte Tinker. I'm sure if you type that in Google, you'll find it. Anyway, birth. Okay, birth. This is a time for birthing. We need to birth things that are close to our heart. We need to birth and this is all about energy. It's all about energy. We birth all kinds of things. All day, every moment, we birth a thought. We birth an action that influences everything around us, right? And so being aware of the energy that is behind our actions and what we are birthing, right? That culminates into bigger things, into projects, into work, our livelihood is crucial. When we can really take the time and effort to birth things intentionally in our lives, with an incredible amount of love and care and compassion behind, as the energies behind that birthing and opening process, it is when we do that, even in small ways, right? Whether that's setting up an altar space for a full moon and just saying, okay, I'm going to create a beautiful sacred space and do ceremony, or just, say my prayers tonight, or, it is always like just the most beautiful thing, because we are incredible, beautiful, divine creators. And when we're unconsciously doing things and we let the mind, the energies of the mind and loose energies, non-controlled, non-influenced, intentional energies, allow things to be birthed in our lives and come about in a non-intentional way, it can really be pretty chaotic, as we see in the world, And so intention and the energy also behind it are the main points there. Joy is the next one. Okay. So although, we like being aware of suffering and being allowing compassion to arise is very essential and important. Without joy, without a sense of like, yeah, without having that other energy that balances out everything out, because joy and optimism, you know, and that energy is so important and is an important fuel for that fire. It's absolutely essential. Spontaneity. You know, I think what's coming up is like, recognize when things are kind of too good to be true, when things feel like, oh wow, that was very like coincidental. Allow that spontaneity to be alive and you know, ignite ideas, ignite connections for you. Yeah, really, I think that will be an important, it seems like that will be quite an important thing to be aware of, is spontaneity of things. And don't be afraid to like really investigate in a spontaneous way when something feels good, right? Be like, okay, well, let's just check this out, you know? I'll just take it, I'll just, you know, whatever it is, you know, go that extra mile, go, you know, a different way that you're used to. What I'm hearing, what I'm seeing and feeling is like, you're on your way back from work to your house, you're driving home from work, and like something spontaneous happens. You're like, maybe I shouldn't go home right away. Maybe I should go here. Or you see something and you're like, maybe I should check that out before. So if that comes up for you, definitely do it. Definitely do it. That was exactly the image that I had in my head. And that kind of energy and spontaneity, like especially if you're feeling like a little bit like, oh, you know, it'd be easier to just go home. It'd be easier to just do this. You know, let's cut that out. For you know, I know this is kind of like for October and the month's already done, but yeah, 2 days can can really do a lot, you know, or maybe a day and a half. But anyway, yeah, I will also be coming through with some other videos, obviously, for November. And I'm going to try to get all that stuff done the first week of November for you guys, and then I'll post some other stuff that'll be really nice and juicy for you all. I have a couple channeling videos where Gabriel had some really beautiful stuff to share. He offered the meditation as well, and for one of those too. So yeah, that was really beautiful, and I really like to post that and share that with you guys. So I'll do that really soon. And yeah, so we're gonna close here. I really hope that was useful, and yeah, that you benefited from that. Again, feel free to reach out to me if I can be of service, if I can support you in your path, in your journey. I do offer distance healing again, and other kinds of like mediumship services, as well as doing tarot and intuitive looking for people and ancestral work. Yeah, I've been teaching like also like meditation and Qi Gong forever also. So feel free if you're interested. Also reach out if you are interested in other kinds of resources. I'd be very happy to share with you links for different communities and other things that might be useful. So feel free if you need support in that way. And I won't obviously like charge you to send you a link for something that might be good, you know, or valuable for you. Yeah, again, just feel free to reach out and say hi too. And yeah, like and subscribe the video and to the channel, and like the video if you enjoyed it, to support me. Again, thank you so much, and many blessings to you. Until next time.